Hi, welcome to the first ever episode of Oscar-Obsessed ADHD. My name's Lisa, and I'm very glad you're here and super happy that you found me. I'll talk about myself sometime in an intro video I make later. Right now, I want to talk about films and my Oscar obsession through an ADHD point of view. For my first episode, I thought, what better than to talk about the film Wicked. I'm a fully professed, out-of-the-closet Wicked-phile. I had huge expectations for the movie. I wondered, would only a Wicked-phile enjoy this film, or would a Wicked novice also enjoy it? I'll give you a little bit of a background. It's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. The story of Wicked is...
Let me tell you the whole story.
...is how the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba, becomes the Wicked Witch, and how Glenda becomes the Good Witch. The story asks the question of,
are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
To me, the story actually goes beyond that, and it's about friendship, differences, overcoming those differences, acceptance, fitting in, and the choices you make to be happy dictate your life. Those of you Wicked-philes will understand the Be Happy reference. Those of you who don't, wait till the movie and you'll understand. So, did the movie live up to my expectations? Mind-blowing. 100% this film lived up to its expectations. It's everything I wanted, expected, and more. Puts you in the story. This movie actually goes beyond the story. It has everything the book has. The depth, the description, along with a stage production on steroids. I was so impressed that this is definitely a movie I will see again and again and again. So how did it live up to my expectations? I mean, it evokes emotion. Emotion that I didn't think would happen in this film. It was like a comedy, a drama, a musical, all wrapped up into one. Every moment of that film envelops you. You feel like you are in that world with them, rooting for those characters. And at some moments, having absolute despise for some of the characters. You laugh with them, you cry with them. Yes, I'm going to fully admit, I did cry at this film. I'm not too big to admit that. But that's because that's what this movie brings out in you. You feel this profound connection to the characters. You feel everything from the moment the movie starts. In the very beginning, when Glenda comes down.
Fellow Ozians, the Wicked Witch of the West is dead.
They sing the song, No One Mourns the Wicked. Again, those of you who are Wicked novices, you'll learn it, you'll love it. But they come down and everybody's so happy, right? Why wouldn't you be? The Wicked Witch of the West is dead. But there's that moment when they look at Glenda and you can see it in her face where she is actually sad. Her and Elphaba were best friends.
Our paths did cross. At school.
Revo's performance makes you feel the heartbreak for Elphaba. The rejection she feels from all of society.
She doesn't give a twig what anyone thinks.
Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
Including her own father. She was raised by a bear because her father didn't want anything to do with her. You can feel that and you can see that.
Some of us are just different.
In those moments where she finally gets accepted, you feel that joy. It brings out something in you that we've all had in our childhood, in adulthood. I don't care how popular you are. We've all had those moments where you don't feel accepted by somebody. This film is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and yet it never felt long. The pace was right on point throughout the whole thing. What makes Wicked so great? To me, there's 3 things that make this film great. The superb cast, facial expressions, and the production. Wow, the production. Let's talk about the Wicked cast, though. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are on point for this film. You can feel the bond between Elphaba and Glenda because you see that bond between Erivo and Grande on the screen. It literally comes at you. Then you remember that they're singing live. Yeah, live. None of this is lip synced, you guys. So they're dancing, they're doing their own stunts, they're singing live, and you just feel their energy. Glenda and Elphaba come from 2 completely different worlds. The only reason Elphaba is at Chiz University is because she's dropping off her sister Nessa Rose, who is played by the extraordinary Marissa Bode. Glenda is there to attend Chiz University. She wants to be a sorcerer. She wants to be taught under Madame Morabelle, who who is played by Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh. You'll remember her from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And while Elphaba is there to drop off her sister, she has an episode, so to speak, where she can't control her powers and she basically destroys the quad. And during that time, everything just kind of falls apart. And one of the things to point out is that there's this big rock mantle picture of Oz, and it falls down and cracks, and behind it you see animals as professors and teaching like they used to lead the university. But we'll get to that later. Ariana Grande's comedic performance in this film is to die for. I mean, when she does the flip, the way she can deliver lines.
It seems the artichoke is steamed. If there are no further questions, I'm gonna go.
All of you haters out there who criticized her being cast for this role, you're going to regret that when you watch this film. She was cast superbly. When you see Erivo and Grande on the screen, you look at them and you think, there is nobody else who could have played these roles. It's kind of how if you ever see the stage production of Wicked, you can't see anybody else as Elphaba or Glinda, but Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. You feel that same way with Erivo and Grande. The casting director did an amazing job with this casting. That's only 2 members of the cast, right? You've got Jonathan Bailey, who plays Fiyero, the love interest of both of them. And let me tell you, you can feel within Fiyero how torn he is between these 2 women and how they bring out different parts of him. The other cast you have is the phenomenal Jeff Goldblum, who plays the wizard. He's good in the film. I mean, I wouldn't say he's over the top excellent, but he's the wizard. You also have Ethan Slater, who plays Bach the Woodsman, the Munchkin. Owen Yang, who plays Fanny. Basically following Glinda around the whole time, making faces behind her, and you just laugh. And the comedy, again, comes out. And you have Dr. Dilliman, and he's voiced by Peter Dinklage, who is best known for Game of Thrones. The second thing that makes this film great are the facial expressions. Throughout the entire movie, the facial expressions could tell you the whole story without them ever having to use words. I mean, let's just look at some of these clips. I mean, it's all of the characters, all of their feelings. And as you look at these, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, you feel that emotion. And then there's a moment when her and Fiyero with the beautifully CGI'd cub go down by the river, and you feel it. You feel it from both of the characters. And you also see this hurt and this emotion through the CGI cub. So, fabulous facial expressions. Second reason that makes Wicked great. Third reason, though, the production. Literally blew me away. Those of you who want to hear more about the production design and Erivo and Grande's friendship, I highly recommend NBC's documentary, Defying Gravity, The Rise of the Curtain on Wicked. It goes into great detail, and it's just a fun watch. I'll include it in the description below in case, for those of you who have Peacock want to watch it. These characters are not standing or dancing around in front of a green screen. They are actually physically in these sets. There's 3 distinct parts in this film. Munchkinland, Shiz University, and the Emerald City, right? Like, they built Munchkinland. They built Shiz University. They built the Emerald City. I mean, look at a few of these pictures. Guys, I've got some mid-building pictures here and then the finished pictures. I mean, as a cast member, it's got to feel great to be able to act and to sing and to be in those sets. And I think that them being in those sets and physically feeling it comes out on the screen because I physically feel like I was in there. And sometimes, yeah, is it a lot? Are there a lot of characters? Is there a lot of lights and a lot of dancing and a lot of movement? Absolutely. But that's what it would feel like to be in there. And that's what I loved about this film. When you think about how the dancing scene in the library, they're dancing while those wheels are moving. The whole thing is just amazing. I mean, they talk in that documentary about the level of detail. The level of detail that Crowley put into this film, you can tell. I mean, the guy didn't want to CGI tulips because he didn't know for sure how tulips would look floating in the wind. He decided he was going to plant 9 million. Yes, I said million tulips. And here's what it looks like as they're planting and then after. oh my God, you can feel it. The color, the vibrance. And then when it is blowing in the wind, there's a scene where Elphaba is running through wheat because she's so happy that Madame Moribel saw her and wanted her to go to Shiz University. I mean, when Madame Moribel saw her from above and her episode and everything happened, Madame Moribel insisted that Elphaba attend university, and since Glinda had a single room,
Yes,
Elphaba.
you can room with Miss Galinda.
hatred in the beginning, best friends at the end. Amazing story. Production value, facial expressions, superb cast. It's everything. Yes, Wicked lived up to my expectations. The whole entire movie is remarkable, and those are just 3 reasons why I thought Wicked was great. But I know you've probably read or seen online some criticisms that people have of the movie. I'm going to address these criticisms because these 3 things that you keep hearing about aren't even issues. There's not even a problem with them whatsoever. And what are those 3 criticisms? Lighting, that it got split into 2 parts, and that it's too much in your face about differences. First off, the lighting. All those people who are saying, I can't believe they did a white sun instead of a yellow sun. When you see the movie, you understand it, and I think it makes sense with the story, right? It's supposed to be this vibrant, lively, better than everything kind of place. Glinda is seen as this perfect, angelic angel. So the white sun comes down, everything glistens off her. It almost looks like she has a halo. It bounces off of all of her beautiful pink dresses, and like when she's coming down in the bubble, the way the light reflects. The pale skin, the blonde hair, the blonde eyebrows, which, by the way, Ariana Grande dyed her hair blonde, so shout out for that dedication. And there's this moment when Elphaba is celebrating being accepted into Shiz University, and she's dancing around the campus, and there's this glass mobile, you know, those things that you hang above babies' cribs. Hopefully not glass ones, but the light is reflecting off of the glass, and you just see how it reflects on the back of the trees and the walls, and you see this rainbow of color, which is great cinematography. So good job there, Alice Brooks. It was bright. It was vibrant. It puts me in a fantasy world. That's what Oz is, right? It's fantasy. I want to be transported to fantasy. This isn't supposed to be some real world place. This isn't some historical Colosseum, which, by the way, I did see Gladiator 2 the same day I saw Wicked. I'll be doing a review of Gladiator 2 in the next couple days, so like and subscribe so you get notified when that one comes out, but I'll be telling you about that. But with this movie, I want to be in that fantasy world. I want the bright, vibrant colors. I mean, think about when the original Wizard of Oz came out in 1939. That movie got recognized for its color. Received 5 Oscar nominations: Best Picture, Sound Editing, Original Score, Original Song, and Art Direction. Color. Guys, think about it. The yellow brick road from the original Wizard of Oz. Now here Crowley builds us a yellow brick road. I mean, you feel all of that in there. The movie puts you there. The only yellow brick road I ever got to walk on was at Storybook Land in Aberdeen, South Dakota, which was fun. But this movie makes me feel as I'm in Munchkin Land, and then I get to go to Shiz University, and then I'm off to Emerald City. The light comes down, and it makes everything colorful. I wanted the vibrant colors. I thought the white sun was great. We also have to remember that this movie is rated PG. They want families to go. And the last time we had a musical that won Best Picture and was rated PG was in 1965, and that was The Sound of Music. The second criticism about it being split into 2 parts and how splitting it into 2 parts brings down the energy, and if the stage production could do it in 3 hours, why can't the movie? I'll tell you why they can't do it in one movie. What happens when a book becomes a movie? First thing people say is, the film's not as good as the book. And usually the reason the film isn't as good as the book is because it's not as detailed, right? By splitting it into 2 parts, we're getting the detail of the book, yet we're getting the amazing stage book written by Winnie Holzman that includes the musical. And that's why I think whether you're a Wicked-phile or a Wicked novice, you're going to love the way it tells the story. You don't have to be a music lover to enjoy this movie. You're going to be so excited for next year when part 2 comes out, because you're going to see how the story gets to end, and you're going to get the detail of their friendship. You get everything you could ever want from a book without having to read the book, for those of you who have ADHD, and the music, the love of the music.
Unadulterated loathing.
There's nothing about Wicked being split into 2 parts that brings me down. It brings me up it's uplifting, and I can't wait for the second part. Part 1 ends on this weird sort of high note, yet low note, leaves you perplexed, wanting more, and we can't wait to come back next year. The third criticism that we'll address is for the people who say it's too in your face about differences, overcoming differences, bullying. My answer to that is, it's not. It's the exact message we need to hear. I'm going to say this a couple times. It is the right movie at the right time. This is a message that we need to hear. And again, the movie is rated PG so that families can go to it together. Kids in the audience will relate to this. They can see in themselves somebody who either got isolated or maybe somebody that they've been bullying and doing that too. And they'll look at Glinda, and when she comes up to Elphaba in this scene, this movie allows families the opportunity to talk about discrimination, bullying, differences, and that people aren't always as they seem on the outside. Glinda and Elphaba become friends despite their outer differences. One's green, one's a blonde. You know, don't know which is worse. No, just kidding. What I'm saying is this movie allows there to be an open forum for discussion. For those kids who maybe can't have an open dialogue with their family, every kid who sees that movie will see something in there that they relate to. So it is not too in your face. It's exactly what we need right now to understand that people are not born with hate. Hate is taught and hate is learned, and that we need to learn to accept people for differences. What this movie is trying to tell you is that you don't get to be mean to people just because they're different than you. There's one scene in this movie where Dr. Dillamond turns over the chalkboard and there's a message on there that says animals are to be seen and not heard. And he asks the class, who did this? Who did this? And nobody wants to fess up. How is this movie too much in your face? This is exactly what happens every day on the internet or in schools. Anonymous bullying. Again, right movie for the right time. So I disagree with the fact that this movie is too much right now. These three things, they are definitely not criticisms of the movie. The movie is great, and haters are just going to hate. People are always going to find things wrong with something, and not every film is meant for everybody, and that's fine. This film, to me, has a message. And if you go to the movie and you don't see the message, that's okay too. The movie is still fun. Wicked Files, you're going to love it. If you go in there knowing nothing about Wicked other than what I've told you here, and you know not one of their songs, except maybe Defying Gravity, but even if you don't know that one, that's fine. Just sit back, enjoy it, and let it flow over you. The movie's gonna be fun. Trust me, you are not gonna walk out of that theater like my stepdad did at La La Land when he looked at my mom and said, that is 2.5 hours of my life I can't get back. You are not gonna do that. You are gonna say, that is 2 hours and 40 minutes of my time I thoroughly enjoyed. So here it is. What's my rating for this movie? I give it 5 out of 5. I don't take that rating lightly at all. I do not believe there is anything more Wicked Part 1 could have done. The pace was right on. The depth of the story was right there. It evoked all kinds of emotions in me. I felt I was there. I laughed with them. I cried with them. I wanted to dance and sing along with them. It's everything you could want in a movie. So if you're looking for a date option, you're looking for a solo date, like what I did, or getting together with a group of friends or your family over the holidays, this is the movie for you. I highly recommend it. So to answer my thumbnail question, is it too popular for the Academy?
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Absolutely not. It is the right amount of popular for the Academy. This movie, again, came out right movie at the right time. Releasing it the weekend before Thanksgiving, it was super smart on Universal's part. You got all of that opening weekend traffic, making it #1 at the box office, earning $114 million in the U.S., totaling $154 when you add the international in there. You're going to get now Thanksgiving weekend, Christmas weekend, and families love to go to movies on the holiday. There are a few movies coming out on Christmas Day that are getting some Oscar talk. Baby Girl, Nosferatu, A Complete Unknown. None of those are going to have the mass appeal. I mean, not any of them are rated PG, but regardless of that, I'm saying this movie came out at the exact right time. Families are going to go. People are going to want to go multiple times. They're releasing sing-along versions in the theater so that all of the Wicked files can go to enjoy it, which I don't really like my voice, so I don't think I'll be attending one of those, but props to everyone who does. I'm predicting this thing rides #1 at the box office from now all the way through the end of the year. What's awesome about that is it's going to keep all of the social media buzz, all the talk going on. Academy voters vote from January 8th through the 12th for all the nominees. Oscar nominations being announced the morning of Friday, January 17th, so look for a video to come out later that day. If not, possibly a live reaction. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you get notified of that. It's going to be amazing. So Universal is smart. It's on everybody's radar. They're making a ton of money, and Academy voters are going to be talking about it. This movie is the right amount of popular for another reason. The Academy continues to try to grow its viewership. In the late 90s, early 2000s, viewership was down on the Oscars, and the Academy didn't know how to get it back. One of the ways they did this was by going back to 10 Best Picture nominees. A little bit of Oscar knowledge, the first 16 years up until 1944, there used to be 10 Best Picture nominees. So they went back to that to allow more Hollywood blockbuster movies to get into the running to make the average kind of film novice want to watch the Oscars. Because it is a Hollywood blockbuster, it's going to get families to want to watch the Oscars at night. Kids, young kids. Not everybody's like me at 8 years old wanting to watch the Oscars. They're going to wait to see if Wicked wins. They're going to be looking in the audience. Are they going to glance over at Ariana Grande or Cynthia Erivo? And this is what the Oscars need. So it is the right amount of popular.
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Again, right message, right time. With a movie this amazing, where does that leave it when it comes to the Oscars? So here it is, guys. My Wicked Oscar predictions. They're big, they're bold, they're ballsy. Kind of like me. I'm going on record, though. Wicked is going to get 11 Oscar nominations. Yep, I said 11. And here they are. Picture. Actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo. Actress in a supporting role, Ariana Grande. Cinematography. Costume design. Film editing. Production. Makeup and hairstyling. Sound. Writing, adapted screenplay, and visual effects. 11 nominations. And so which ones do I think are going to win? Here it is. They're going to win Best Picture. They're going to win Actress in a Supporting Role, Ariana Grande. They're going to win Costumes, Production, Film Editing, and Visual Effects. So yep, I'm predicting 6 out of 11. Yep, you heard me right. 6 out of 11 they are going to win. These are my predictions. They're locked down. It would take something very radical for me to choose a different winner in these 6 categories. The question you might be pondering, though, is with 11 nominations and 6 wins, why isn't John Chu getting nominated as director? For a little bit of Oscar knowledge, only the people in that particular branch get to vote for the nominees. So Best Picture is separate, and we can talk about that some other time. Directors get to vote for directors. Directors can be a little snobby. They're a little bit elitist. So the reason they're not going to nominate John Chu, as much as they like this movie and they think it's great, let's look at John Chu's past movies. Yeah. Some Step Ups, some LXD. What is that? You got some Bieber on there. I mean, Gem and the Hologram, some G.I. Joe, the super popular Crazy Rich Asians. He did another musical, In the Heights. He has Now You See Me Too, with 3 coming out next year. The directors are going to judge him on his past movies. You can tell, though, things like Gem and the Holograms and In the Heights, he's got a love for musicals. And so, yes, is it going to be a snub that John Chu doesn't get nominated? Absolutely. Yet, I hope he's proud that his movie will do amazing at the Academy Awards. Why don't I think Cynthia Erivo will win? The category is just too hard this year for actress in a leading role. Even though Erivo and Grande are co-leads, they put Erivo in for lead and Grande in for supporting because the Academy tends to favor musicals more in the actress in a supporting role category, And Erivo has already been nominated in the Actress in a Lead category back in 2020 for her role as Harriet Tubman in the movie Harriet. I do predict Erivo will get in, but she's barely going to squeak in at 5th place. The competition is just so hard this year in the actress category. And I think she'll be happy with the nomination, and she absolutely deserves the nomination. The woman spent 4 hours a day being painted green. And, you know, the stunts, the singing live, all of it, she does great. This would actually be her 3rd nomination, one for her role of Harriet. Yet also that same year in 2020, she got nominated for the song Stand Up that she wrote for that movie. Unfortunately, she didn't win, so she is still the short of being an EGOT winner. For a little bit of knowledge, what's an EGOT winner? So all that means, guys, is this. You've won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. Erivo is an EGT winner. She won the Grammy and the Tony for her role from 2015 to 2017 in the Broadway show The Color Purple. And then the entire cast of The Color Purple won a Daytime Creative Arts Emmy. I do predict, though, Erivo will at some point become an EGOT winner. She's an amazing actress. She has a lot left to offer, and she's still very young. Wicked is winning 6 out of 11 Oscars. That's amazing, and we should all be very happy with that, because unfortunately when Wicked Part 2 comes out next year, we're not going to get as lucky at the Oscars. We might get some nominations, but we're not going to get the wins. We're going to befall the fate that happens to most sequels, and that's that maybe you get some noms, but you're probably not going to get the wins. We'll see that this year with Dune 2 and Gladiator 2. Unfortunately, this just happens with most sequels. Not all sequels. I will do a show in a couple months where we talk about sequels and how they perform at the Oscars, but for right now, let's just say, enjoy the wins for Wicked Part 1. Some of the other categories that Wicked will be nominated for, but not win, Whitney Holzman and Dana Fox for writing the adapted screenplay. The Academy usually does not give the win to something that's gone from book to stage to film. This will be their first nomination for both of them. Cinematography, Alice Brooks does tremendous work with the camera, and you can see it in so many of the scenes. Really watch out for the Watchtower scene and the Dancing Library scene. The way they filmed that is fabulous. Interesting fact, Brooks and director John Chu have worked together before on the movie In the Heights. Another category that Wicked will get the nomination, yet not the win, even though did a great job, is Frances Hannon in the makeup and hairstyling category. She is a former Oscar nominee and winner for her work on the Grand Budapest Hotel in 2015. She does amazing work, beyond the fact that she had to create this shade of green. The shade of green didn't exist, and every green that she found out there was simply paint. And so she had to make sure that whatever she found didn't rub off on the beautiful costumes, didn't rub off on Ariana Grande's face when they would hug. And so she actually had a makeup alchemist, like a little chemist, take a product that no longer is made and doesn't exist and combine it with different shades of green. She wanted to make sure that Erivo looked good in 100% of all the lights and 100% of all the shots, and she does that. Every performer in Wicked wears a hairpiece of some kind. Every one of them. From, yes, Ariana Grande dyed her hair blonde, still extensions that have to be put in. The braids that they did for Elphaba that they actually had to braid before they put them on Erivo. Even somebody like Jonathan Bailey, who's got a gorgeous head of hair, got a toupee. They put a fat toupee kind of in the center of his hair, and the blonde was done to call off his big brass buttons that are on Fiero's costume that Paul Tazwell designed, which are amazing. Unfortunately, she's not going to win because the Academy tends to go more for prosthetics. Think Brendan Fraser in The Whale in 2023. There are a lot of other movies this year that have prosthetics that are going to be nominated and that will get the win. I will be doing separate videos on all 23 of the categories and my predictions for them. That'll be coming out within the next month. Slowly, I'll get them released. But yeah, she'll be nominated, just won't get the win. Another one that won't get the win, too much competition this year, is sound. Simon Hayes is the sound director. He's a former 2-time Oscar nominee with 1 win. He was nominated in 2013 for a musical we all know, Les Mis, and he got his win in 2022 for the James Bond film A Time to Die. Too much competition in sound this year for him to get that, but he will add another nomination to his belt. Now for the ones I think it will win. It's going to win film editing. This would be the second nomination for Myron Kirsten, who was nominated in 2022 for another musical, Tick, Tick, Boom, which is a great Andrew Garfield film. I cannot wait to do my musical episode on Oscar-obsessed ADHD. I'm so excited. But he's going to get another nomination, and he will get his first win. Wicked will win visual editing. That was done by Pablo Hellman. He is a 3-time former Oscar nominee, 0 win. This is going to be his 4th nomination and his first win. The visual effects in this film are fantastic. And that is not to undercut the other nominees that are going to be in this category. Some of the people in this category have already won in the past. Hint, hint, sequels. This will be Pablo Hellman's first win. His other 3 nominations were in 2020 for The Irishman, in 2006 for the Tom Cruise movie War of the Worlds, and in 2003 for Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones. There's just no understating the visual effects of this movie. So, film editing, visual editing, there's going to be people who will disagree with me on that. The next 2 I don't think anybody can disagree with me on. Costume and production design. Let's talk about costume first. Paul Tezwell does the most exquisite work. All the beautiful pink dresses he designed for Glinda. You might think a black hat, a black cape, a black dress for Elphaba isn't that hard. The black hat alone, I think they went through 6 or 7 iterations of it. He worked very closely with Erivo on it to ensure that when she put it on, she could feel it, that she felt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Something has changed within me.
And you can see the level of detail and design in that opening scene with the black hat. I mean, guys, it's just gorgeous. And the connection to the hat. It's interesting because Tazewell did the costumes for Harriet, and in the film Harriet, Erivo wears a hat, very connected to her hat. It's just funny, their connection to the hat and their history. He has done 5 different productions of The Wiz. For those of you who don't know, The Wiz is like kind of a cult classic of The Wizard of Oz that was done in 1976. It's been redone numerous times. He won an Emmy for doing The Wiz live on NBC. Tazewell has been nominated previously in 2021 for his work on West Side Story. Obviously, did not win, yet Oscar fact, he became the first African-American male ever nominated in the costume category. So, Paul Tazewell, this will be his 2nd nomination, first win. Calling that one. And what can I say about production design that I haven't already said? The beautiful sets. 9 Million Tulips alone should get him the win, but this is Nathan Crowley's year. The guy has been nominated 6 times previous and never won. This is it. You look at this film and the color and the production overtakes you. His previous nominations in 2021 for The Tenant, 2019 for The First Man, 2018 for Dunkirk, 2015 for Interstellar, 2009 for The Dark Knight, and his first ever nomination was in 2007 for his work on The Prestige. If you look at those movies, they had great production. This film, production on steroids. 7th nomination, first win, he's getting it. Now for my big 2 picks. Gang, if you've got money and someone's giving you really good odds, take them on Wicked winning Best Picture and Ariana Grande winning Best Actress in a Supporting Role. These 2 are going to happen. There's a lot of pundits and columnists right now who are kind of agreeing that Ariana Grande is more than likely going to win Actress in a Supporting Role. Part of that is because the Academy likes to honor musicals in this category. Since the 2003 Oscars, there have been 8 nominations for Best Actresses in a Supporting Role from 7 different musicals. And here's the kicker. 4 of those 7 movies were not nominated for Best Picture. Considering the stats for supporting actress role and the remarkable performance by Ariana Grande,
You're green. I'd give it away, but I don't hate anyone that much. Wear this. Oh, hello. Why couldn't tell me this is your moment? I'm coming.
These things are sent to try us.
she's winning the Oscar. A lot of people will tell you, oh, well, she'll definitely get the nomination. No, this is going to be her first nomination and her first win. She's got the facial expressions, she has the comedic performance, she has the drama, she has the singing. She delivers with her body language, her facial expressions, everything. So she's getting the win. Anyone who says the Academy won't honor it because it's a musical and it's too popular and it's not indie enough or hip enough, I completely disagree with that. It's been 22 years since the Academy has honored a musical, and the last time it did was in 2003 with Chicago, which was rated PG-13. It is time. Right movie, right time. The Academy wants to honor musicals. They appreciate that genre. Think back to 2017. If it wouldn't have been for Moonlight, La La Land would have totally won Best Picture. Heck, there for a while, us as the public and the people from La La Land thought they won. Which, by the way, was no fault of Warren Beatty's. He was given the wrong envelope. He opened it up. He didn't realize that he was handed the Best Actress in a Leading Role, which Emma Stone had just won prior to that. All he saw was the words La La Land, and that's what he read. So, again, ADHD moment. There isn't the competition against Wicked this year like there was with Moonlight against La La Land. The Academy does appreciate the musical genre. La La Land had 12 nominations. I'm predicting Wicked to get 11. However, La La Land only won 5 of their 12. Wicked's winning 6 of their 11. Wicked is winning Best Picture. Part 2 will be nominated, knock on wood, for Best Picture next year, yet it's not going to win it. This is Wicked's year at the Oscars. Yeah, it's a musical, but as I said, it's also a comedy. It's a drama. It's winning. So there it is, my film review and Oscar predictions of the movie Wicked, Part 1. I had a great time doing this. I'm so happy you guys stayed with me through my first ever episode of Oscar Obsessed ADHD. I'm going to be making a lot more videos in the upcoming weeks, predictions in all 23 Oscar categories, so make sure you like and subscribe. And as you guys all go and see Wicked, please put in the comments what your favorite parts were. If you disliked anything, let me know that too. All of the films and all of the categories through my Oscar-obsessed ADHD point of view. Thanks for joining, and until next time.